there are some places in Colombia where you should never mention the name Pablo Escobar, because back in the late 80s and early 90s, when this drug lord took over half of the country, he had many people killed. So many families till this day are hurting because of what happened in the late 1980s and early 1990s. The word tourists then mentioned the name Pablo Escobar just in a conversation, and the landlords of the resort where they stayed forced them to leave. That's how sensitive the name Pablo Escobar is. However, you can still discuss Pablo Escobar, just not mention his name randomly. Now, there are people whose name you're not even allowed to mention for a discussion. You just don't mention them at all. Who are those people you're not allowed to mention? People like you who survived societal narcissism. When you survive societal narcissism, when you survive the resentment of the crowd, you become a taboo subject. People are not allowed to even talk about you nor mention you. Okay, let's say you had this serial rapist who went around raping women, okay? And the women, of course, are victimized, but hey, they can still take advantage of what happened to them by going to the police and get the men arrested. And when the men's behind bars, the women get a satisfaction of justice. So that can help them cope with what happened or even lead them to a healing process. But what if you have a guy that nobody could stand? Why? Because this guy had a loud voice and he had a big following on social media. So nobody really could stand it. This guy had a leverage they had no control over. So the people tried to sabotage him, and when that didn't work, they turned on him, making false police reports about him and all of that. They brought them to court and all of that, but when they were bringing him to court and making accusations, they went over the top. And eventually their accusations became so ridiculous that things backfired on them. And not only that, while things were backfiring, suddenly a lot of people became kind again towards the guy. The guy didn't take it. The guy avoided that people and he moved on. Now he's far better off financially and economically than the people who wanted to bring him down. Now, do you think those people will be happy when you mention the name of their former victim who escaped the trap? No, they will not, because they put in so much effort to shut down that guy. It didn't work, it backfired. Now they're worse off than their target. First of all, they shouldn't be even looking for someone to victimize. That's an embarrassment already. But they want to have an excuse why they were victimizing the guy. The truth is, they are the ones who don't want to face things in life, and they're the ones looking for an outlet. So when their outlet escaped and things backfired, that is a humiliation they cannot avoid. That's a humiliation they have to carry the rest of their lives. Why? Because they don't want to change for the better. And because they don't want to change for the better, whenever things backfire, that humiliation, that embarrassment sometimes will afflict them mentally as long as they live. That's why they're always worse off when their victims escape, survive, and thrive. Even escaping of a victim is already enough for things to backfire, let alone when the victim survives and begins to thrive in life. Every achievement of the victim after the victim's escape will be a backfire on them. So, it can be that you have this actor or this singer who has become quite popular with hundreds and thousands of followers on Instagram and other social media, and he has become a hit. All the people from his past who joked about him and nothing good would come from him, who laughed at him, who treat him like dirt, who did him dirty, all those people now were openly doing dirt towards him in public. The public now is going to laugh at those people, because the public is going to tell them, you guys were abusing and mistreating this guy over and over again, but hey, look at this. He is far better off. And we are the ones with anger and bitterness, so you guys are the joke here. And now they become the target of ridicule that they can't escape. So what will happen is that when things backfire, because the victim escaped, and let's say the victim is now successful, the conspirators will become miserable, and they will join together as a misery group, And they will recruit other people to go after the target again. And when that does not work, they will have a meltdown and they will escalate on any potential victim around them, sometimes even on themselves. So, because the community doesn't want to have a meltdown, and they don't want to back and forth, public explosions of anger and arguments, the public also doesn't want to deal with increase in domestic violence or increase in bloodshed. That's why in societies there are taboo figures. A taboo figure is someone you absolutely are not allowed to even mention nor think about. Because the moment you mention this individual, it will trigger the backfire that happened when the victim escaped. It will trigger all those bitter and heavy emotions. It will trigger all the pain, all the hurt, and all the mental harm that they brought on themselves when they backfires. It will trigger all the domestic violence and the bloodshed people trying to avoid. So it's like this. When a victim escapes and later thrives in life, the perpetrators and the enablers will have a meltdown. And to prevent this meltdown from actually happening, you're not allowed to talk about the escaped target. People will do their best to rewrite history to pretend like the individual never existed. That's why, for example, some people out there, they became successful, whether they're an author or they're an actor or they just are a happy family man or family woman. And then when you look at their past, you want to check which primary school they went to. But for some reason, the primary school was demolished. And when you look at the history of the primary school, there was no reason to demolish the primary school. And then you think, okay, but why did they demolish this primary school? And then you figure out through rumors that the people that worked at the primary school who witnessed this individual, when the individual was a child, they were all having mental breakdowns. And the mental breakdowns began when the individual went through his or her deliverance process and began to thrive in life. So energetically, things bounce back. And the fellow classmates who were in the same class as the now successful individual also faced backlash. So they all realized if fans or supporters of this former target want to look into the past of this individual and they find the primary school, they'll figure out all the horrible stories of how bad we treated that guy or that woman. So they all agreed, let's demolish the school, that will make it hard for us to be confronted. Such things happen. Or it can be that suddenly all the pictures of someone that was made disappear from a website. Such things happen out there. When you thrive in life, the opposers and haters will go into a meltdown. And to hinder the meltdown by actually melting down on the community, because whenever there's a meltdown, the community will suffer the harm. So because the community doesn't want to suffer the harm, they come with taboos. Don't mention someone. It happens often that people will try to erase you from history as if you never existed. Why? Because they don't want to deal with the reality that you survived and you're thriving. This is an humiliation, an embarrassment that exposes how low life they are, that they're willing to victimize someone else instead of facing life. They don't want this to come out because once this is exposed, they lose everything. They'll lose their reputation, and with the loss of reputation, will lose their families, their marriages, their jobs, their businesses, their good standing in the community. And once that happens and they've nothing left to lose, it will explode and the community will be harmed over and over again. Communities don't want to go through this. So when you thrive in life, you will be blacklisted here and there. Some places don't want you to be around. Some places will literally put you on a blacklist, a non-wanted list, a not wanted list. Why? Because the memory of you alone triggers explosive anger in some people. And when that anger is triggered, it's the community where the individual slaves have to deal with it. So some places will blacklist you. I'm telling you, you will be blacklisted here and there when you begin to thrive in life. Don't think that when you begin to thrive in life that you're going to have a standing ovation, people are going to clap for you. It's not going to happen. There's going to be a lot of folks that will blacklist you, put you on a not wanted list, you will become, as they say in Latin, persona non grata, someone without grace. That's what you will become. Some places, when you arrive and people don't want you there, they will literally beg you to leave them alone and to get away. Some places will chase you away with violence. Maybe not physical violence, we're going to scream around, to dance around, with a lot of weird stuff just to push you away. I'm telling you, when you thrive in life, there will be blacklist. And some people are so upset with your survival and with your progress that they will put you on a hit list. Yes, not only will you be put on a blacklist, you will be put on a hit list. Some people will go so far that they will hire their own criminal relatives to go and finish the job by killing you. Or they will hire satanic abusers or just random psychopaths from the streets to set you up. Some will even come with a plot to use a stranger to infiltrate your life or your business and to get close to you in order to sabotage you from within, or just to exhaust you with false accusations. I'm telling you the truth, saints. Do not expect any standing ovation nor any red carpet when you begin to thrive in life. That is what a lot of you expect, and that's why you're so stuck when it doesn't happen. You're so surprised, you're so overwhelmed when you face retaliation. Now you know why. Me? I'm sure I'm on several blacklists of several groups of people, and I know for sure that there's some places, some towns, some villages, even some neighborhoods where I am not welcome, where people don't even want to see me, neither do they want my name to be mentioned. I'm sure that my name does trigger explosive rage and even domestic violence or even suicide in quite some folks. Why? Because I survived and I'm thriving and progressing and expanding, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. No Satan, no demons, no paranormal, no demonic forces, and no human organized violence, no random violence can stop me. So what do you do when there's a backfire happening to you, and the reason why things backfire is because the target that you targeted has survived. And every achievement the target achieves in life will backfire extra on you. And the target keeps on achieving, and things keep on backfiring. So as long as you live, you'll have bad stuff afflicting you. What will such people do? They will have a meltdown. Either they will become suicidal, or they will be explosive, and the whole community will be harmed. Some of those people will end up stabbing people randomly, killing people, become serial killers. Some will suddenly begin to molest children just because they need to explode on someone to feel powerful. Some will begin to suddenly beat their wives or beat their husbands or openly abuse their children. Or some will drive their cars into buildings or into crowds, killing people. Others will begin to sabotage everyone around them just to get everyone in a misery. When people go into a meltdown, very bad things happen. And there are even people who have no direct issue against you, but because they know you are a controversial figure, because you survived and you're thriving now, even they want to silence you. So now you know why people will blacklist and hit list you. People want to silence you when your influence exposes the darkness of the community. Some of you all that are listening to this, your name alone will open a cesspool of hurt and violence and embarrassment in the community. Your name alone, even your picture or anything related to you, will trigger explosive situations. That's how fallen mankind is. Instead of them being explosive towards pedophile rings and devil worshippers in high places, they want to escalate on victims. And when the victims escape, survive, and thrive, they lose it. So don't be surprised when you're blacklisted or when you're put on a hit list. That's why keep on walking by faith so that you can overcome all the violence that comes against you. Be at peace.